There's been a topic in the past I've been asked to cover many times. I never have because it's a really simple topic, but I've gotten a few more requests for it lately, and one person has requested it more than once. In fact, they've sent me multiple PMs about it. In fact, they sent me one today asking me how I was coming on the video, and I told them actually it was next on my list of potential videos, so I thought I'd go ahead and do it because it's really simple and it won't take long. And it's about selling guns on the internet or selling your guns online. That's as a personal seller, selling a gun to someone else, like on an auction site or on a bulletin board or however you want to do it. But there's only a couple ways really to do it. And there's not really much risk to you. A lot of people are really nervous about selling guns online. And as a seller, there is very little risk to you. Now, the most risky way to do it is actually face-to-face. That seems odd, but that is the most risky way to do it because you have to kind of believe, a lot of state laws will say that you have to reasonably believe that person is able to own a firearm. Which it'd be kind of hard to prove you have reason to believe that they didn't because you don't go around assuming most people are criminals. So when you're selling a gun online, one way to do it is, post it locally. That's how I sell most of my guns. I put it on local forums. I sell the gun. That's done face-to-face. That doesn't require anything but you and them, some cash and a gun, and a reasonable trust of each other. So that's the easy way to do it. Actually, that's the hardest way to do it, but it's really easy. It's the most risk to you. It's not hard, but it's the most risk to you. Because, they could do something wrong with the gun. It could come back on you. And you haven't transferred it to an FFL or anything like that. Now, the other way to sell a gun is across state lines. And a lot of times if you're selling on the internet, let's face it, you're going to be selling it across state lines. Well, to you, that is almost no risk. Because when you're selling it across state lines, there's always going to be an FFL involved because there has to be one. You can't just ship the gun straight to the person and then ship you the money or the other way around. It has to go through the third-party FFL. So what they're going to do is they're going to send you the money, you're going to send the gun to the FFL, they're going to go to the FFL, get the gun. That puts all the burden of making sure this person can have the gun on the FFL and that person buying the gun. You've pretty much relieved, once you put that gun into the FFL's custody, you are pretty much relieved of all responsibility for that gun. Like I say, it's up to them to make sure things are done legally. And as far as selling online and making sure that the person that's buying the gun can legally own the gun, I see that personally as that falls on their shoulders. They're a grown adult, they're grown up now. Don't be selling to minors, but if you sell to someone who claims they're not a minor and then the gun gets the FFL and they're a minor, they're not going to go pick it up, so you're still not going to get in trouble. But as long as you are selling in good faith, it is up to the person buying the gun to make sure they are capable of owning the gun and possessing the gun in the state they live in and with their background. So like I say, you list it, you collect your funds, advertise fairly, advertise truthfully, don't sell them something they don't want, don't say it's a pristine condition 1911 and send them a beat up old Beretta, So long as you're honest and long as you're fair and you get a fair price for something, send it to the FFL, then it's no longer your problem. It's the FFL's problem and their problem. They get cold feet, the FFL's going to say, all right, I'll keep it. I don't think you owe them a refund because they get cold feet. Now, you can give refunds if you want, but that's up to you. That's a big headache getting the gun back from the FFL. But as far as just selling it online is one of the easiest ways to do it because you take all the responsibility away from yourself and you place the responsibility in the hands of that third person who's licensed by the government to perform such tasks, and you can sit back and just take in the money and just ship off the product. Now, you do have to remember, though, there are certain ways you have to ship the gun to the FFL, and you have to make sure it's an FFL that accepts from you personally as a person. Some FFLs will only accept from other FFLs. That's one thing you might want to remember. But I have found that instead of going and shipping a gun overnight, which I will sometimes do if the person wants the gun right away and their FFL will accept from an individual, I will go and ship the gun overnight, which is how you have to ship it. You have to ship overnight. That's not cheap. It's expensive. It adds $50, $60 to the gun, sometimes more if it's a heavy gun. So I've always found it's cheaper to know an FFL locally, take the gun to him, he charges me $25, he mails it regular mail to the other FFL. That way it's FFL to FFL and you have even less responsibility. Once you hand that gun to that FFL, you're out of the deal. And how hard is it to go to a local FFL, hand them $25, hand them the information to who to ship it to, the license of the FFL you're shipping it to, and you're done. So really when you look at it, it's a very simple process with very little risk.